It is time for Urban Hell. This is another subreddit that I found where they discuss disgusting looking cities or suburbs or neighborhoods, and I give my input, and this is just kind of an opener. You can see it looks like a housing development in Dubai, and all of the houses are the exact same. Dubai, after all, is a complete artificial city. Living there, it's like the SpongeBob meme with it when everything's the exact same. It just looks brutal. It almost turns you into a robot when you live in a complex like that. I mean, I guess it's doable. You know, Dubai has really hot weather, but when you've got hundreds of houses all identical like that, and even the roads are identical on each sides, it is pretty brutal. This is a $300 room in Hong Kong. You're better off being homeless. China is just so crazy. There's a bunch of China submissions on the subreddit, and you're spending $300. You know it's almost like, what do they have in China? They actually have these in New York as well. They're hotel rooms, and the entire room is just a capsule. It's like, oh, you get the upper bunk, and you can kind of close the door. I've always wanted to try that just for the experience. It's like $100 a night or something. I think this is $300 a month. This is a road expansion that's being built on a beach in Alexandria, Egypt. Yeah, that's tough. You're just ruining the beach, putting up a highway. There was a very viral road that was put up. Maybe this is what it was. Although I don't know, I think that highway's already been put up, but there was a highway that basically just ruined an entire beachfront area. Like the highway, the supports of the highway are right where the beach would be, and you could just see all of the water, and it's just a highway. It's crazy. I don't know where this is. I would imagine probably China. The facade of that skyscraper is pretty cool, but yeah, with the amount of skyscrapers there, China is really weird. Like with the vegetation right next to all the different high rises, they just have so many cities with high population density, and I'm sure that's another one. This has to be India. Yeah, it is. On the left you can see India during lockdown. On the right you can see it modern day present time, and the air quality in all of the major cities in India is horrible. The pollution is an issue that's ongoing basically every day. They get bad pollution, believe it or not, from cars. The emissions from the cars, because of how highly populated some of those areas are, the amount of people that have cars, that's part of it. They also burn a bunch of stuff right outside the major cities like New Delhi, and basically the weather is just a constant state of haze. The actual weather should be like sunny or partly cloudy, especially during the summer in India, but it's just constantly looks overcast because it's haze because of the horrible air quality. It's crazy. This is in South Africa. Oh, they've got terrible crime problems in South Africa, to the point where I've seen several different instances where people have, their outer fence of their home looks like a prison. It looks like barbed wire jail. They have to make it really high. They've got spikes there. Yeah, South Africa is a crime-ridden place, and people don't even suggest visiting South Africa at this point. That's how bad it is. This is Mecca, and the caption says this cityscape is deeply unsettling. Well, it's just such a clownish clock tower. It's the biggest clock tower in the world, and it's surrounded by nothing. Like, look at the backdrop of how ridiculously big that clock tower is. The other thing that I noticed in this photo, look at all of the construction going on at the bottom with all of those cranes. They've got like 30 cranes there. It's just crazy, but it's just a weird image because beyond the massive high-rise buildings, there's just nothing. There's no development. This was a photo that kind of went viral. I guess people were hating on America. You can see the top image versus the bottom image, what it actually is. I don't have a problem with this photo. I don't see the issue. It looks like a giant truck stop, but I guess people were hating on it for whatever reason. Who knows? This is brutal, man. How many houses can they? That's not even typical suburban housing. Come on. There's no backyard. There's no backyard or front yard. And I would imagine that's either in Nevada or Arizona, right outside of Vegas in Nevada or Arizona, somewhere outside of Phoenix. But it's just a ridiculous amount of houses that they're jamming into an area with no front yard or no backyard. That's bad. This has got to be China. one of those massive it's either China or Russia. Like, look at it just looks so bad. It's a massive apartment building. Portland, Oregon. This was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I wonder if they cleaned it up. The problem with homeless, once it gets out of control, it's basically unsolvable outside of doing something drastic. And none of these cities want to do that, so it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and multiply and multiply and multiply. If you have a homeless problem, and especially if you're a major city, you have to nip it in the butt immediately. And a lot of these cities didn't do that, the bigger cities, and it's just spiraled out of control. This is Dubai. I mean, looking at Dubai, the highway system, the city, like the desert area, it's just crazy how they built this massive, multi billion-dollar city in the middle of a desert. It does seem completely artificial. 18,000 people in a single building. This is St. Petersburg, Russia. The building looks so clownish. Like, how is that even one continuous building? It's just crazy. And then what's going on the interior? It's like it almost is like some type of weird stair step design. Oh, and they're adding onto it. They're adding onto it with more construction. That's an apartment complex. That's crazy. Here's a little dog park for everyone that lives in an apartment. The most saddest dog park ever. It's a patch of grass. Oh my God. Oh yeah, Dodger Stadium was getting hate as well. So people are saying that look at this parking lot desert. And yeah, when it comes to stadiums, they are trying to trend away from this disturbing massive parking lot. But I do think Dodger Stadium, Chavez Ravine, it should kind of get an exemption. They really can't build parking garages or major parking complexes because of the earthquake problems. At least that's what I read. And it's just a massive parking lot. It's interesting, this aerial photo, you can tell, this was when Dodger Stadium was going through a renovation in 2021. There's a bunch of construction beyond the outfield seating area. Just kind of interesting there. This is the Kowloon Peninsula in Hong Kong, 1964 versus 2016. It's crazy because in 64 it looks like a beautiful little, town. Look at all the clouds and then maybe they took it during an overcast day, but it looks like haze. And they build these massive buildings all the way up against the mountains. It's just crazy. Like, all those buildings are very tall. You can't really tell because it's a photo from far away. But that is a bunch of just cheap apartment complexes, office buildings, office space, because of the amount of people that they have. This is a city, like a swamp city in Florida. I mean, that would be pretty cool, honestly. It reminds me of, like, Italy. But the issue with it would be all the bugs. The humidity, the mosquitoes, all of that. What is going on here? These are maybe townhomes. They're just so ugly. Like, where's the front door? I guess you can kind of see the front door, but the way those houses are built, it's very strange. Maybe one person is on each floor, like you can rent out the top floor, the middle floor, and then they have garages which you both share. I don't know. It's just the way those houses are built is very odd. So this is a billionaire in India, and it's like he built a crap version of the White House on top of like some type of, I don't know if that's his mansion or maybe his mansion's on top of the building. Either way, this is the equivalent to like a 5-year-old designing a massive house. It just looks horrible. I don't know what billionaire, what grown adult has taste like this. One word, China. Russia? No, that's gotta be China. I mean, what? Brutal, man. Just brutal. This is an abandoned mall in China. The amount of abandoned places also in China is just immense and crazy. There is a huge abandoned complex, not this one, but a different one, to where they didn't finish building it, but it was like a mall complex that stretched, it felt like, for a quarter mile. I saw a YouTube video on people exploring it. But yeah, it's bound to happen when you have that many people living in several different major cities. You're going to have different malls and places that go abandoned. This is brutal. It's Nigeria. And the story behind this is, I mean, it's obviously extreme poverty, but the original city became so overpopulated, they started building, the slums in the water. and you can just see how disgusting that water is. And they've got like little housing developments, little tin huts built in the river because there's just nowhere to build. There's no land there. That is crazy. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.